Warning. This podcast is hosted by two brain-dead idiots with zero filter. Therefore, it contains language and opinions not suitable for all listeners. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello, everybody. Welcome back, finally, to Virtual Tavern 2. Fuck my ass. I just knocked my goddamn mic stand.
As he was saying, Virtual Tavern 2.0. It's finally here. Those of you who follow our TikTok, I have been posting updates on it with, the last probably month and a half or so, but we're finally up and going. We have all the foam up. We are set and ready to go, and I am so fucking excited to be back. I have missed making episodes for you guys. It's crazy.
It's honestly been worth it because our hard work has finally paid off. And obviously, we're going to figure out the lighting situation better because Hunter looks beautiful over there. Meanwhile, I look like the episode of SpongeBob where they take off King Neptune's helmet. It's like, bald, my eyes.
Yeah, so there are some kinks that we got to work out. But you know what? We have it. The studio is finally here.
Yes.
Now it's just final tweaking. Like it's what we've always done, like the lighting's kind of always been an issue. We've always had to do minor adjustments, this and that. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah, but the important thing is we're fucking back, baby. We're able to make fucking episodes. We're able to record. We're back.
It's like that scene in The Hangover when they're we're back. Now, so we already recorded a little tour video. I'm not going to spin my camera around for you guys and fuck up my camera angle again. But
you spin me right round, baby, right round.
Hunter recorded a comedic little YouTube or TikTok short for you guys showcasing the Virtual Tavern. So he will have that uploaded and edited, hopefully before this video goes live, probably, because I got to do a lot of editing. But anyway, this is Virtual Tavern, a podcast where we talk about all things sci-fi and fantasy. We have been gone for a very long time, where we are picking off on Fantasy Friday. And
Picking up on? See, you're so fucking rusty. You don't know how to fucking speak right.
We are picking off on. We are picking up on. How would you say it, fucker?
Picking up where we left off
We are picking up where we left off on Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King Extended Edition for Fantasy Friday. So the way that we're going to do this is because Hunter and I work such different schedules, we only have such a limited time to record when our days off line up. The way that we're going to do it from now on is we're going to record 1 week is going to be Sci-Fi Sunday, and the next week is going to be Fantasy Friday. Yeah. So we're going to alternate between fantasy and sci-fi, like kind of bi-weekly. So that's 4 episodes a month, 2 Sci-Fi Sundays and 2 Fantasy Fridays is our goal now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like it's not preferable for either of us. Like, I know that we both like being able to get multiple episodes out a week, but
there's that one flying here.
I know, and it keeps fucking with me. But realistically, like Adam was saying, it's just not feasible for us to be able to record as often as we used to. And that, like, when we would record, we would usually have to take, like, it would take a good afternoon, like the entire afternoon, just to make sure, like, everything looked right. We had all of our fucking notes and shit ready. So I think the schedule is good. And hopefully it will appease you. I'm sorry that it has been so fucking long since we have been able to do this, but we put a lot of work into this. We hit a few snags, like, for example, the fucking electrical work. If you guys follow our YouTube, you guys saw the little short that Adam made where I was struggling to make the fucking light switch work.
And then I got roasted for my tape work, which rightfully so. I'm not a carpenter. I'm not a fucking, woodworker or a fucking tradesman or anything. I raw dogged it, and Hunter's like, yeah, you use this tape and put putty on it. So I'm like, okay, putty, and then put the tape over the fucking putty, and then nothing else. And then someone roasted me on TikTok, and I'm like, Yeah, you got me there, buddy. I'm not a professional. But you know what? We can say that we did it ourselves. It's adequate. It serves our purpose. And we saved thousands of dollars that we would have had to spend if we hired a professional. And it's just as good. Like 90% of the fucking imperfections are covered up by the soundproofing foam anyway.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to see it. So, like you were saying, we saved a shit ton of money by switching to Geico. I mean, by doing it ourselves. And I'm at some point, like, we've talked about potentially doing the ceiling in foam as well.
Yeah.
More like the acoustic stuff. You guys can't see it because neither of our cameras are facing in that direction.
Yeah.
But they're more of like a flat panel. You'll see it if you guys follow our TikTok, which is dude, I don't remember what the fuck it is.
Virtual_tavern_podcast.
Yes, thank you. You'll get like the glimpse of a glimpse of everything from that little funny skit tour thing that we did. Like it's very MTV Cribs like.
Yeah, it was fun to do.
Yeah, no, it was great.
But anyway, so before we get into our content coverage of where we last left off on The Lord of the Rings: The Return of the King, we do our house cleaning shit. And it has been a very long time, and we have come back to a whopping 0 emails. So we would love to hear from you. Our email is contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. If you send us an email, we'd love to hear from you, whether you have something to say about Cyberpunk, which is the current topic we're covering on Sci-Fi Sunday, or Fantasy Friday, Lord of the Rings, The Matrix, even if it's something that we covered in the past that you have something to share.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, even if you just have questions about, like, things that, we may be covering in the future, or, honestly, just, like, maybe questions about the setup, like, whatever questions you might have, go ahead and feel free, send us an email about it. We will answer a question about it. Now, if it's something that's specific, like if it's a fantasy question or sci-fi, we'll answer it on,
the relevant podcast.
Yeah, that relevant podcast. But if it's just, a generic question, whenever we record next, we will address that email at that point in time.
Yes.
So please do feel free to email us at contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com.
Yes, we don't have any emails, but I can say...
Do we have new listeners?
We have a new listener from a new country.
I'm excited, but not.
We are up to, on Spotify, the analytics, we are up to, I believe, 18 distinctly different countries that are listening to this podcast.
That's fucking cool, dude. Oh my God. Especially because, like, we've been gone for so long, the fact we're still picking up new listeners.
Yes.
We still have people fucking chiming in. That's so fucking cool.
So, just a refresher, I will read off all the countries that have listened so far, and Hunter has to guess the new country that has started listening. So, United States, India, United Kingdom, Republic of Lithuania, Australia, Germany, Israel, Israel, Ireland, Slovakia, Russia, Brazil, Sweden, Ecuador, Indonesia, Japan, Mexico, and the Czech Republic.
Okay, and Spain wasn't on that list, right?
No.
Because I know I've guessed that before. I think there was one video I guessed it twice.
So, Hunter, you have 3 guesses.
Okay. I mean, since it's already fucking top of the dome piece, I might as well say Spain because it's already there. Okay.
Ding 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 ding.
Like, I half expect China to be on there, but then again, I don't know.
Probably banned in China.
I was gonna say I don't know if they would even like allow us to allow them to see it, like, because they have that weird
censorship
like internet,
laws.
yeah, the censorship stuff. So
I'll just tell you it's not China.
Let's go with Iran.
No.
Okay.
They disassembled all their radios to make bombs.
God damn it.
They can't listen to us if they wanted to.
Holy fuck! Oh, I can't breathe.
Third guess, go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
Bahamas?
5. The Philippines.
Oh, okay, cool.
We have a new listener from the Philippines. So whomever you are, thank you for tuning into the podcast. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. Like, it's so cool to be able to know that our content is not just here, in the US, but that there are people that are tuning in from all of these different other countries. So we really appreciate you guys tuning in. And again, we'd love to hear from you guys. So any questions, even if it's just to say like, hey, I'm tuning in from here or whatever, like, it'd be really cool to get an email from you. Or at the very least, like, if you happen to be watching us on YouTube. I can't remember if Spotify allows comments.
Yeah, Spotify. That's a new thing. Spotify now allows comments, so you can comment on there too if you want.
Yeah, so, whatever, like, if there's a comment option on there, you can do that as well. Like, we would just love to hear from you guys. It's always good to hear back from your audience.
Yes. Also, we have had multiple new followers on Spotify in our hiatus, so that's cool that even in our absence, we've been getting new followers on Spotify. We've been getting a couple new subscribers on YouTube, but we've had solid listener and viewership on YouTube and Spotify in our hiatus, so that's pretty cool.
That's really fucking cool. During my live streams, like, I've been trying to like kind of throw it out there, every
Yeah.
now and again. And just like I did with the live streams, like, if you want to see fucking gameplay and shit, where I don't know, I play a lot of fucking Fortnite and shit on there. On Twitch, it's creator 69. But yeah, I've been trying to help pull people in. So it's cool that, like, it's kind of been working.
Yeah.
Because I know at least like two or three people that have been in my streams have straight up just, like, they've asked me about the podcast and have gone straight to it afterwards.
Yeah.
Because we even were getting like last night, I told you that there was that friend of a friend that was in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when he saw our YouTube, he's like, "Dude, your YouTube page looks fucking glowing." Like, yeah, I can't take credit for that. That's all Adam.
So the last thing that we usually do to cap off our Talking About recap, well, I guess we should mention that we have a YouTube, Virtual Tavern on YouTube. We're on TikTok, virtual_tavern_podcast. Feel free to reach out on any of those platforms. But I think the last thing that we usually do to cap off our house cleaning shit is our talking point recap. But it's been so fucking long that we barely remembered where we left off with the Return of the King.
Yeah, I mean, I had to skim through our last episode. I was like, dude, I don't remember where the fuck we left off, because where the movie was paused, I feel like it's probably like 5 minutes ahead of that, maybe.
Yeah.
So I wanted to make sure, like, we were gonna start in the right spot.
So
which we left off with the Gondorian soldiers holding off that little, like, flooded out fort while all the Uruk-hai and the orcs and shit were coming in.
Yeah, it's Osgiliath. So
yes,
the orcs have finally made their big push across the river to Osgiliath, which is like it's like the D-Day fucking battleground, for the orcs versus the men. It's the front lines of the war, and it's constantly being destroyed. The city is a shell of its former self. It's completely ruined and destroyed. It's seen warfare for maybe like 10 or 12 years.
yeah,
God knows how long. Yeah, and the orcs made their big push, and Faramir and his soldiers can't hold them. Like, this is that whole ass horde that we saw come through Minas Morgul that was just marching out of Minas Morgul with the Witch King.
yeah.
So the defenses are not going to hold. But I guess I'll just ask you this question. Not really a talking point recap, but more Lord of the Rings related, since we're kind of getting back into the swing of things. What do you think of the new Lord of the Rings movie that's going to be coming out this December, Lord of the Rings: The War of the Rohirrim?
I mean,
what are your thoughts on it?
There are things I like about it, things that I don't like about it. The fact that, Peter Jackson's coming back for it, that's fucking cool. That's pretty tits.
I don't know how much of a role he has in it. I hope it's a big role.
I do too.
And not just slapping his name on it for fucking,
Yeah, I don't want it to be like, he fucking just gets credited because he, like, threw an idea or two out. But I'm excited about it. I am a little worrisome because it kind of feels like, they're doing what a lot of movie and media sources are doing now, which is just, like, trying to create a new, like, female lead, which, that's fine. But from what I've gathered from other people that have kind of delved into it, like, there's no story involving her. So I don't know. I need to do more research into it, because I've tried to keep an open mind on it. Like,
right, you're worried that they introduced a new character that happens to be female for, like, some kind of brownie points with female audiences.
Yeah, like, doing the whole like how, I don't know, like, Disney's been doing the whole like, I guess you could say anti-whitewashing thing, where they've been changing all the different
Disney
characters,
to
like
black
ethnicities and things like that. Yeah,
Snow White.
Which, again, there's nothing wrong with having a more diverse cast, but it's just when it's thrown in there for like no reason. That's
Yeah.
more my worry. It's just that because of how Hollywood has been doing that so often lately, like
Well,
I just want to have it to where the story makes sense. Because from what I gathered from the first trailer, like it's supposed to focus more on the actual war, like involving the king and his family, which I get. Like I think she's like the princess or whatever.
I think she's the daughter of Helm Hammerhand.
Yeah.
I think.
But regardless, like it looks cool. Even despite my worries, I'm gonna keep a high hope for it. So
Yeah.
like I'm not just some fucking sexist misogynist.
No,
Like
like
I'm definitely gonna.
we love strong female characters. Fucking Ripley from Aliens,
Oh, absolutely.
Alita Battle Angel, Lucy from Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Like we're not
Jill,
against
Jill fucking Valentine,
Jill
Lara
Valentine,
Croft.
Laura
Like
Croft.
it's when they make sense. Totally fine with it. It's just when they decide to throw them in out of nowhere. There was like I don't know, like and it could very well be the same way. Like if it was a guy character, like I don't care the gender. It's when a character is thrown in there that doesn't make sense to be like the main character in the story. Like that's my problem.
As long as it kind of jives naturally and there's no like men shaming, like, oh, strong woman, I'm better than all the men, kind of like a Captain Marvel situation,
Yes.
right?
Oh my god, definitely Captain Marvel. I forgot so much. I
Yeah.
forgot about that too.
So I'm actually really looking forward to the movie. I know a lot of people are fucking bashing the art style, and
I like the art style. It looks good.
I don't get it. Like, what do you want? Like, people are just upset that it's an animated Lord of the Rings. I'm like, did you not see the old fucking Lord of the Rings cartoons?
Right,
Those
Lord of the
fucking art
Rings
styles
or the
are
fucking Hobbit.
horrendous. Like the ones that were made in the 70s, that art style is god awful.
Yeah, you mean how you always send me fucking Samwise Gamgee? This fuck all the fucking time for no reason will just suddenly send me a picture of Samwise Gamgee from the old 70s fucking cartoon.
Let me see if I could find it. Yeah, I would always send Hunter the fucking animated 1970s Sam. It's just as like a meme. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, it would be like when he didn't want to answer a question or he didn't want to actually answer a text. That's all I would get. I would get a picture of 70s fucking Samwise, like bush and all.
Just like a joke. But I'm actually really looking forward to the show, man. Like I get some people are a little apprehensive, and I'm usually on the side of like I'm kind of like sick of the woke and social justice warrior preaching and all that shit.
Yeah, and I guess that's the better way to phrase it is that it's this whole like woke message that Hollywood has been focusing on for I don't know the last like 8-9 years. Like it's been a little drawn out. Like I understand that there are certain points that they're trying to make with it, which are fine.
Can't find
Um, but yeah, it's just the woke culture. Like woke culture to me drives me fucking crazy.
Right. But
because they again throw shit in there that doesn't make sense.
But I'm all for strong female characters in media. Like,
Yeah.
we're not just fucking women-hating pigs, I loved Alita Battle Angel. I'm still hoping for a sequel.
Dude, that movie's so fucking good.
Yeah.
She's such a fucking badass.
She's a badass on her own rights. Excuse me. I love Cyberpunk Edgerunners, and Lucy was a main character.
Absolutely.
Like, I mean, David Martinez was the star, but she was rightfully like the second character of the story.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, they had so many good female characters in that as well. Like we had Rebecca.
Yeah, we had was it Domino or fuck? Who was the
muscular? Domino's fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, who was the Zarya kind of chick?
Oh my god,
I know.
I don't remember.
But Kiwi.
Hey, tell you what, if you guys happen to remember who it was, go ahead and send us an email at contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com.
Well, it has been 18 minutes, so we are well over our time frame. We usually like to keep our talking point recaps and everything and house cleaning shit under 15 minutes.
Before we get into the meat and potatoes, I think we deserve a toast for all of our hard work and everything that we went through. We're finally here.
The thousands of dollars, the dozens of man hours made,
the sweat, blood, and tears that went into this place. Well, yeah, dude. How do you think I put the flooring?
You do not want to take a black light to the studio. So
no, like that's how the foam is stuck on the walls. I looked like a raisin.
Oh,
anyway,
Jesus.
fucker, pick it back up.
I took a drink. Okay.
Sláinte, you asshole.
Sláinte, okay. All right. So I hope you'll forgive us. We haven't seen you guys in a while, so we rambled on for a little bit. So anyway, to get back into our content coverage, we last left off with the Battle of Osgiliath, right?
Yeah.
We're about, I want to say like an hour into the movie, 45 minutes to an hour-ish. And
roughly.
the scene that we left off exactly was when Faramir was killing an orc, and then we transitioned into Pippen climbing up this little rock face to light the beacons of Gondor. I can see
I'm
smiling.
happy to be back. That's why I'm smiling, fuckface. I'm happy.
But Pippen is given the task of climbing up this tower, basically this mountain. Like the whole city of Minas Tirith is carved in a mountain, right? So this tower is basically half rock face mountain and half like stone bricks. And he has to climb this tower and light the beacons of Gondor.
Yeah.
Because King Denethor is fallen into despair and he's like, fuck it, we're dead already. But Gandalf's mission is to bring hope to these.
Yeah.
And if he can light the beacons, that gives the people of Gondor just the slightest amount of hope that Rohan will come and they're not alone in this battle.
Yeah, and we talked about it. Like the reason that Denethor fell into despair was because of his Palantir. Is that what it's called?
Yeah. So he has his own Palantir.
Yeah, he has a Palantir, which makes it to where like, he was able to get messages essentially from Sauron, who just tried to put every little bit of like disbelief into him. Like he didn't want to have him have any kind of hope that the people of Gondor, or really like anyone in Middle Earth, was going to survive his wrath.
Yeah,
his attack.
Sauron is known as the Deceiver, right? Sauron the Deceiver. And he was feeding Denethor these visions of doom and gloom and everything. Excuse me.
Bitch.
I know. He was feeding Denethor these visions of doom and gloom, and that Gondor was destined to fall, the world of men will fall. And Denethor believed it. And he just fell into this pit of despair. And, also with his wife dying too, that doesn't help things. And I'm sure Sauron capitalized on that too, and maybe fed him visions and messages of his dead wife and fucked with him even more. But anyway, so Pippin lights the beacon, and I love how these two just outside like, oh fuck, we're losing our jobs.
Yeah.
They're like, who lit the fire? Was it you? It's like the Spider-Man meme.
Oh yeah, we're all pointing at each other.
But King Denethor looks outside. Oh, did you bump the mic?
I did.
Oh my god.
I checked it.
But Gandalf is happy that the small amount of hope is going to men. And he looks to the beacons. One of them is Amon-Dîn. And the Gondorian soldiers are like, the beacon of Amon-Dîn is lit.
Jesus!
You fucking stop
I'm
it.
sorry! My foot's autistic!
This whole episode is clusterfuck, but we'll get back into the swing of things. That's okay.
Well, I mean, I'm having to get used to having a fucking mic stand next to me. Before, I had the table that had the fucking mic arm that just swung
this is a whole new setup.
Yeah,
for
this
us
is
both.
totally fucking different. I mean, at some point we're gonna have to get a fucking chair for me in here, so I don't have to bring mine from my fucking house over here.
But the beacon's light, right? And each beacon is like 20 to 30 miles away from each other. You're lit, bro.
I just came.
Stop it. Each beacon is like 20 to 30 miles away from each other, still within visible distance.
Yeah.
But they're long distances away from each other. I want to say there's like 12 or 13 beacons in total to reach all the way to the realm of Rohan. And it's kind of cool. Like from nighttime to daytime, it goes through mountains and blizzards and shit. I'm like, what if you can't get the fire started?
Oh, dude.
Like that thought ran in my head. Like, what if these guys who their whole job is to sit on these mountains and wait for one day, like maybe they can go their whole fucking lives without seeing that beacon light. But the one day, maybe they take an off day or the fire won't light. Like, fuck, everything's wet. We're on a mountain. There's snow everywhere.
Dude, they call in sick.
Yeah, they call in sick that day. Or what if they died? Like, it's just two guys on a fucking mountain. You can see the little hut.
Yeah, good question. Where the fuck do they get their food? Where do they get their water?
Who supplies these? They're on the top of fucking mountains.
They're off by themselves. Do they just have like random people that show up every week with fucking like supplies? Like, we have brought you your rations, sir.
Do they get Wi-Fi on that fucking mountain? They're bored as fuck.
But they got that fucking Musk internet.
Oh Jesus! They got Starlink up there. But Aragorn is the first one to see it. It reaches all the way to Edoras, which is the capital of Rohan. And Aragorn sees it and he instantly hauls ass to the Capitol building. It's January 6th. No, I'm kidding.
God damn.
Yeah, I had to. But he instantly hauls ass to the Hornburg, right?
Theoden Trump got it.
Yeah. And he says, the beacons of Amandine are lit. Gondor calls for aid. And this is where I feel like King Theoden gets much needed character development because he hears Aragorn and he debates in his head for a second. He doesn't right away say that, all right, everyone up and go. He thinks for a second. He looks down, he ponders. He asks himself that question internally in his head. Last movie, where was Gondor when the Westfold fell?
Yeah.
Right? He's debating in his head like, do I help them? Do I not?
Should I help them? Do they help me?
Yeah. But eventually, this shows his growth as a character. And he says, and Rohan will answer, dun, 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 muster the Rohirrim. And it's a great, like, motivating, rally of the men and everything.
And, I feel like, I know that it wasn't part of the books. Like, the elves going to help at Helm's Deep, that wasn't in the books. That was essentially like Peter Jackson's creative the fuck do they
Liberty?
call it? Yes, thank you. Creative liberty. But basing it on film Theoden, like I feel like that interaction kind of helped push him to, okay, these guys came out of fucking nowhere to help me. I didn't call for help. There was nothing there. And they still chose to fucking, show up. So if these guys are using our ancient fucking system of, the two cups in a fucking string of like, we need help.
Rohan! Help!
Rohan, help me, daddy!
Stop it.
That we should answer. So it, like you said, it's great character development. We get to actually see him not only be a great king for his people, but a great king in just the terms of like the lands themselves. Like he's willing to help his fellow countrymen.
He's showing his quality as a man,
Yeah, as a man and as a leader.
Yeah. Because last movie we saw his flaws, right? He was very spiteful of Gondor not coming and helping him at previous battles. And he also fell into despair when all of his men were dead, except like a handful of them in the keep. And he's like, what can men do against such reckless hate? And he had to be bailed out by Aragorn, and given hope.
Yeah.
But now we see like a revitalized Theoden where he's willing to do everything to help out his fellow men and his fellow countrymen and just do the right thing. I feel like that shows a lot of character growth and a lot of, he starts out a little flawed and everything, and now he's showing his true character.
Yeah. We're going to see his true colors.
Yes.
If you could say.
Yes. And now all of them.
Sorry.
But now all the men are rallying and everything. All the riders of Rohan are getting on their horses. And we see a scene of Éowyn, who is the daughter of King Theoden and has the hots for Aragorn.
Oh, yeah. She's like fucking drooling as soon as drooling, dripping, everything.
But we see a scene of her stashing a sword on her horse. Aragorn notices it, lifts it up, and then Éowyn quickly fucking drapes it over and says, the men have found their captain. They will follow you into battle, even to death. And that's showing that Aragorn, even though he doesn't want to be king and a leader, he's inspiring hope around him. The men of Rohan will follow him as a great leader and a captain.
Yeah, which is, it's kind of a pinnacle point for Aragorn, because, like, so far he has been very reluctant to accept his role as a leader or a king.
Yeah.
But to essentially have it like thrust upon him and forced to see like whether you like it or not, this is your role. This is who you are.
Yeah.
It's actually it's really fucking cool. Like being able to see him just kind of have to force it down. Like, fuck. All right, this is what's happening now.
So I actually really like this creative decision. So I think we talked about it before. In the books, Aragorn was on board to being king right from the beginning. Like he was saying, yes, I am Aragorn, son of heir of Isildur, I am destined to be king of all the men of the land. But in the movies, Peter Jackson chose to take a very different approach and make it more of a conflict. And I feel like that makes Aragorn a much more interesting character than just be like,
it makes him far more complex because, like, if you give anybody a chance to be that kind of a fucking leader, like, they're gonna fucking jump onto it. Like, oh fuck yeah, you want me to fucking be the boss of all these people? Fuck yeah, I'll take that power trip.
yeah.
But Aragorn, he's like, I don't know, man. Like that ain't me, dog.
If they had done that with the movies, Aragorn would have been a bland plank of wood of a character.
Yeah, like there wouldn't be all this different contrast with him. Like we wouldn't see all these different like kind of points of view with him. So it's cool to be able to see him, you know, kind of struggle with the idea of I don't want to do this, but I know I have to. Like I know it's my destiny.
Yeah, it's like I just can't wait to be king.
Exactly. Like that's fucking book Aragorn right there. Is fucking I can't wait to be king.
Pretty much.
Meanwhile, fucking movie Aragorn, he's more of like the emo like Dad, you can't fucking tell me what to do.
Jesus. But anyway, so yeah, Aragorn showing a lot of character growth and everything. Honestly, the Return of the King is I know it probably gets touted as, oh, it's just a bunch of battles and shit. There's a lot of character growth in this fucking final act of the series. Lots of characters start to develop their final character arc and everything. Like Merry and Pippin, like the scene right after this is Merry swearing fealty to King Theoden. And without that, Merry and Pippin wouldn't have anything to do in this story if they didn't like interject themselves somewhere in the plot, but also making it more attached to their character arc. So Merry, you know, wants to help his friends. He's feeling left out and he wants to help in however way he can. So he swears fealty to King Theoden. Pippin, kind of a fucking idiot, but also does the same thing with, you know, Denethor.
Yeah.
But it does show, it's not as fleshed out, but Merry and Pippin do get a small character arc as well with that.
Yeah, it's nice to see them kind of get more of a boosted role rather than just the comic relief or, you know, the fucking idiots of the group. Like they actually get to grow as I'd say as people, as hobbits.
Yeah.
And they mature because they were definitely like very, very childish at the start of this. And now they're like, dude, we've seen so much shit. We need to be able to actually like help our people, help our friends. So they're taking steps, even if it's not necessarily the right ones, they're trying to do what they can to help their people, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, it's I don't want to jump too far ahead, but Merry does say later on, all my friends have gone into battle. It'd be shame to be left behind. So he's not really going into battle as like a way to prove himself. He wants to help defend his friends, which I think is also a good little character arc. But Merry swears fealty to King Theoden, you know, shows his sword and everything, and he gladly accepts it. And there's this awesome little, I think this was an extended scene, but Gimli was like, horsemen, I wish we had an army of dwarves, fully armed and filthy.
But, dude, I forgot about that scene.
I think this is an extended scene, but Legolas says, I fear that war has already come to your own people. Which is actually true, because in the books, I believe, the Haradrim, or one of the evil races of men, are waging war along with the orcs on the dwarves. We just don't see it on screen.
Yeah.
So the race of dwarves, even though we don't see them on screen, they are fighting their own war with Mordor. You know, I kind of wish we got to see that. Maybe in like a side project, or like now that Amazon owns the rights to Lord of the Rings, or at least partially.
Yeah.
I hope, wishful thinking, maybe they can make like a little side movie where it shows the war with the dwarves against, you know, the evil men of, you know, Mordor during the Third Age War. Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
I know
like,
it's not going to happen, but
we already have the War of the Rohirrim, right? Like, but we can get the War of the Dwarvirim. Like,
I hate you.
I knew you'd have this. I knew you'd have that reaction.
So we get one last panning shot. Ooh, fuzz film. Like, we get one last panning shot up of all the Rohirrim leaving Edoras, thousands of them, and they're going to rally even more. And now we go back to the Battle of Osgiliath, and holy shit, it's rare to see the good guys getting their ass kicked in such a brutal and gruesome fashion.
Oh yeah, dude, they're getting fucked up. I mean, it's like you said in the last episode, like it's a numbers game. Like there's maybe, 400 or 500 soldiers there for
if
the
that.
Gondorian? Yeah. And then you just have thousands and thousands of fucking orcs and Uruk-hai going to fuck these dudes
They're
up.
going to Fucktown.
Yeah, they're straight taking these guys to fucking Pound Town right now.
Yeah, we've talked about it in the past, especially when we talk about Boromir as a character and the country of Gondor as a whole. These are young, 20-something-year-old guys. Like, and they're getting killed in brutal fucking fashion.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not too dissimilar from, like,
sorry.
God damn it. It's not too dissimilar from, like, real World War I or World War II, where young boys are sent into the meat grinder and it's fucking brutal, but it's a fight for survival, right? You know,
Yeah.
these men of Gondor, they're fighting to defend their home. The alternative is extermination. Sauron isn't interested in like taking prisoners or fucking like parlaying or anything. He's fighting to kill every single man, woman, and child.
Parlay.
I know. I knew you would fucking do that. But seriously, though, right? Like, Sauron is a force of just pure evil in fiction. He's interested in only, like, pure extermination, right? It's like Terminator.
Yeah,
You're
pretty
fighting
much.
for
Like,
your very survival.
he had no desire to take anybody captive. Like, he didn't have a use for you. Once he got control of your land, he was going to murder everybody he came across. It didn't matter, women, children, men, didn't fucking matter. He was going to kill everybody that was in his path that wasn't on his side.
Yeah. It's just fucking... You know, The Lord of the Rings is mostly like it is a fantasy, but it's like an adventure fantasy. But in moments like these, you're reminded, like, holy shit, this is some Game of Thrones level fucking brutality.
Yeah.
Like, the orcs are stabbing into these guys, blood spattering from their mouths. I'm like, God damn, this is PG-13?
Yeah, like, we get to see all this intense violence, and like you said, it's very Game of Thronesy, just without the incest. And
Oh my God.
we get to see these guys just get fucking massacred and cut down like it's fucking nothing.
Yeah, so as you said, it's like maybe 500, probably more like 400 Gondorian soldiers trying to hold the line. But they, like we said, they start coming in from not only the beaches, but also the bridge as well. So they're getting flanked. There are no more defenses. It's not like the Battle of Thermopylae with 300 Spartans. You can hold a choke point. They're getting flanked now. And now the Nazgul are flying up above. They're completely fucked.
Yeah.
There's nothing they can do. So Faramir makes the rightful decision to pull out. So he orders everybody to evacuate the city of Osgiliath and make for Minas Tirith. And yeah, there's a handful of fucking soldiers that make it back. And they're riding along the Pelennor fields, and they're still getting picked off by the Fell Beasts.
Yeah.
Gandalf comes out and uses his wizard power. I don't really like the power of the
power of Christ compels you.
The power of Christ compels you. I'm trying to the Maiar. I had to remember what kind of race he is. The power of the Maiar.
Mhm.
You know, he raises his staff and blinds the whole area, and that causes the Fell Beast to kind of like fuck off and go back to the realm of shadow. This is a cool shot. You can even see the dark clouds, how far they've gotten.
Yeah.
And the reason why the orcs are able to assault Osgiliath in broad daylight in the first place is because this big pyroclastic cloud is above Osgiliath.
Yeah, like, instead of fucking, blocking out the fucking sun with arrows, like, you had mentioned the Spartans. Instead, they send these fucking dark ass fucking clouds that make it to where your standard orcs and goblins, they can be out in the sunlight rather than just getting fucking fried.
Yeah. Because
So
apparently orcs in this universe don't like sunlight very much.
Yeah. I think it's kind of similar to that of like the giants that we see in the Hobbit films.
Yeah, to a lesser degree.
Yeah, they don't turn into stone, but they're affected by the sun.
Yeah, I don't want to mention the Rings of Power, but I will just this tiny bit. It actually shows in the Rings of Power, if you hold out an orc to the sunlight, they start burning.
Oh, so like vampires almost.
A little bit, yeah. It's not fatal to begin with, but like prolonged exposure probably would kill them. That's why they need some kind of cloud cover, to make it across.
Yeah.
But the soldiers fall back to Minas Tirith. They're able to make it through the gates. And Faramir instantly calls out to Gandalf, Mithrandir. And Mithrandir obviously being the nickname, one of the many nicknames of Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White.
Yeah, which is that is one thing that I really like with Gandalf is that he is known by many names.
He's known by the Grey Pilgrim, Mithrandir, and I think he has one more nickname.
He does. I can't remember it off the top of my head.
Yeah, but Faramir tells Gandalf the story of, Frodo and Sam. He says, he looks down at Pippin, he's like, "What the fuck is that? I just seen 2 more of those." And Gandalf is like, "This is not the first hobbit to cross your path." He's like, "No. You've seen Frodo and Sam." He's like, "Yes, you must tell me everything." Uh, and that's when Faramir fills in Gandalf on, the travels of Frodo and Sam that we saw in the last movie, right? Where he picked up Frodo and Sam, captured them, and then eventually let them go.
Oh, right, which is where fucking good old Smeagol / Gollum decided to go back to the fucking dark side because
they beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, they scared the fuck out of him, so he felt like Frodo had betrayed him.
And we talked about this, like, I do feel like if Frodo didn't betray Smeagol, he would have stayed Smeagol.
Yeah, we would have been able to see like a total character like arc reversal, and he would have gone back to being more of an innocent character. Instead, like we got to see him go fucking full on batshit crazy evil because the one person that he trusted fucking betrayed him.
And that kind of goes back to an earlier line by Gandalf when Gandalf and Frodo were in the mines of Moria. And Frodo immediately says it's a pity that Bilbo didn't kill him when he had the chance. And Gandalf says, "Pity? It's pity that stayed Bilbo's hand." And then he says a really awesome quote that I love because it's a life lesson, right? "Some that die deserve life. Some that live deserve death. Can you give it to them, Frodo?
Yeah.
Do not be so quick to deal out death and judgment. Even the very wise cannot see all ends." And what that means to me is that even the evilest person can be redeemed, and even the goodest person can fall to darkness. It's people can be redeemed, and people can turn evil.
Master Skywalker.
Oh,
there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Okay, that's another example, right? Darth Vader did turn good in the end. That's the point Gandalf is trying to make. Like, Smeagol, even though he killed Deagle and he did other horrible shit in the past, he was about to be redeemed. But because of the actions of Faramir and the Ithilien Rangers kicking the fuck out of him, he turned evil again. He did have the capability of being redeemed, and that's the actions of other people. But
as soon as they made their actions, it changed his fucking course of history.
Yeah. So anyway, Faramir, after retreating from Osgiliath, goes home to Daddy, and
call me Daddy.
Call me Daddy. He talks to Denethor, right?
I love you, Daddy.
And Denethor just does not give a fuck. Even though Faramir is completely justified tactically, he made a tactically sound decision. Why waste the 300 or 400 men under your command in a hopeless situation where you cannot win and just waste the lives of all of them? Or do you retreat and make a tactical decision to save your men for a different offensive another day and survive another day?
Yeah.
Like, Faramir made the correct tactical decision, but Denethor isn't thinking logically. He hasn't thought logically in a long time.
Well, I mean, on top of that, like, he has hated Faramir for so fucking long because if I remember right, we talked about it where he kind of blames Faramir for his wife's death, right? Like,
yes, because Faramir, Denethor's wife, died during the childbirth of Faramir, if I believe.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
So he holds that against Faramir his entire life, and he doesn't trust him to make any decisions. Anything that he does, even no matter how good or how right he is in the situation, he's always wrong in his eyes.
Yes, and the visions and the dark images from Mordor, fed by Sauron with the Palantir, only have exacerbated that.
Yeah.
So he's not thinking logically at all. He's thinking on pure emotion and just despair, and he's being bitter and fucking evil. So he just completely dips on Faramir, and he gets mad. And he says, "Boromir would have been loyal to me. You could have brought me the Ring of Power." And Faramir keeps telling Denethor, like, he would have fallen into madness. He would have fallen into despair. He would have taken it for his own, which we saw.
Yeah, he tried. I mean, like, he very quickly would, like, learn, or I wouldn't say learned. He like took a step back once, kind of everyone else like, hey, how about you fuck off for a minute?
And even Faramir was tempted by the ring.
Yeah.
Like, it took a lot for him to, renounce it as well, which shows Faramir's strength as a character as well.
Yeah. Like, we've talked about it. Like, obviously, the race of men, they are very, very susceptible to the pull from the ring.
Yes.
So the fact that Faramir was able to just turn it away and be like, no, I'm not doing this, is a great, great show of strength on his end.
Yes.
And it's like you said, Denethor, he hasn't thought straight about decisions involving like his people or the kingdom in a very, very long time.
Yeah, because the Palantir has been fucking up his decision making.
Exactly. So even I feel like even if Boromir had come back, if he had learned that Boromir was within reach of the ring and he didn't bring it back, he'd have treated him the same way.
Yeah.
Because like his mind by this point is just so twisted that he doesn't really know how to separate the two different sides of things anymore.
Yeah. So Denethor gets mad. He jumps up from his seat. He says, Boromir would have been loyal to me. And he fucking falls down like an idiot. And then he hallucinates for some reason, sees Boromir in the background. He's like, my son. And then the apparition disappears.
Which I forgot that the ghost of Boromir more or less pops up next to Faramir. I forgot that happens entirely.
And I love the actor for Denethor because his facial expressions are so savage. He's like, leave me. He looks at Boromir. Boromir disappears. He's like, then looks at Faramir. Leave me.
You piece of shit.
Yeah. So Faramir leaves and everything. And then we go back to Frodo and Sam, who we haven't seen quite a little. They are now climbing the very dangerous, very rocky stairs, the pathway from the entrance to Minas Morgul to like a back entrance into Mordor, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the lore behind the stairs and everything, so don't ask me why they're carved here and everything. But Frodo and Sam are climbing. Frodo goes across a ledge and he's like struggling to get up and everything, and the ring pops out. And Gollum is like, oh, come to Smeagol. And Sam sees it. He's like, hey, motherfucker, shing, unsheathes his sword. Because he thinks Gollum's going to go right for the ring, right?
Yeah.
But Gollum is playing the long game, right? So he's trying to get some trust, get some brownie points with Frodo, and sow the seeds of distrust in between him and Sam.
Yeah.
He grabs Frodo by the hand, helps him up, and Frodo, he's all weak and everything. He's barely cognizant. And Gollum is just feeding lies and feeding distrust into Frodo.
Yeah, because, we already know that Smeagol has full-on fallen to the ring before. Like, he had it for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
So he kind of has a little bit of Sauron in him. So he has that natural, like, deceiving capability. So he's just going to tell Frodo whatever it is that he needs him to hear to make it to where, there's the chance for Gollum later on to get the ring from him without having to, like, worry about Sam being in the picture. His whole goal right now is to separate those two.
He knows how to sow the seeds of distrust and everything because he had the ring for so long. He knows how to manipulate someone under its effects.
Exactly.
So he starts telling lies about Sam, like he wants it, he needs it. Smeagol sees it in his eye. Very soon he will ask you for it. You will see. And Frodo's like, Sam? This fucker here?
Nah, this is my homie. He ain't gonna do that.
But, okay. I understand that Frodo is underneath the powers of the ring, right? And it's sowing like distrust in his brain as well as Smeagol. But Frodo has no reason to distrust Sam up until this point. I get it. He's been cruel to Gollum and like kicking him around and insulting him every single fucking time we see them together. But he has no reason to distrust Sam.
Yeah.
He's been loyal up until this point. But that's just a small nitpick that I've had. Like, I get it. He's underneath the effect of the ring. He's underneath the fucking coercion of Smeagol. But that's just something I've always had a nitpick with it. Along with him trying to sabotage the fucking quest every single time he sees
every single fucking chance he gets. Yeah. Oh my god. He's coming close.
Stop it. Gotta put the ring on. I'm a fucking idiot. Jesus. Oh god. But we go back to Minas Tirith, and we see the soldiers of Gondor. They're terrified. They're a country without a leader. These are soldiers that haven't had clear direction in a long time, right?
Again, because Denethor, he's not a king. He's like essentially the king's right hand man that just took over.
Yeah. Imagine if, the United States was at war and we had the vice president in charge because the president died and the vice president wasn't even there,
Yeah,
you
like
know?
he wasn't present enough to be able to like actually make sound decisions.
Exactly. That's what this country is doing. And the Gondor soldier looks at Gandalf. He's like, where are where are Rohan's armies? Will Rohan's armies come? Mithrandir. And Gandalf says something like, Gandalf isn't gonna fucking beat around the bush with these guys. I love that. But he's also gonna try to stay optimistic at the same time.
Yeah.
He says, courage is your best defense now. Like, holy shit, that line cuts deep. Because he's not bullshitting you. He's saying, okay, we're kind of fucked, but let's try to stay hopeful and try to like stay positive to the very end. Like,
Yeah.
he's acknowledging that the situation's grim, the situation's dark. We may have to rely on ourselves. We can't give up hope. You know, I think that's a great line from Gandalf.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic line, and like it really helps to inspire a hope among these guys because like they've it makes it to where like they understand like it's going to be on themselves to really like hold things together. Like don't have it to where you're relying on other people. Like you need to pull on your own strength, which is going to make it to where you look within yourself to make sure you can take care of those you care about and
Yeah.
what matters most to you.
And up next is another extended scene, I believe. It's when Pippin is just hanging out in like the Citadel in one of the alleyways, one of the side hallways. And Faramir comes up and notices him. And Faramir starts making conversation with Pippin and everything. He says, oh, I recognize that outfit. It used to fit a very young and naive man of Gondor. And Pippin is like, this was yours. He's like, it was much long ago, but it fits you better, And he talks about how he had stories of like slaying dragons and like slaying orcs. And, he would play as a kid. And someone talked about Boromir as well, how Boromir was the braver one. He was a stronger one. And he's kind of downplaying himself, and that's kind of a symptom of Faramir being the younger brother, always looking up to his.
I was gonna say, like, I mean, myself being a younger brother, I always look up to my older brother. So, like, I'm always gonna say he's the better one. He's stronger. He's this. He's that. Like, it's kind of a natural symptom of being the younger sibling.
Yeah, so Faramir is talking up Boromir, saying how he was the bigger brother, the stronger brother, and Pippin says, "I think you have a strength of your own kind, and your father will see it in the end." And um, that's just showing. It's kind of a little bit of foreshadowing, what happens later on in the film.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, so Faramir and Pippin have this nice little one-on-one conversation. Then it goes back to Pippin in the fucking throne room, and he has to kiss Denethor's ring to swear fealty. And I don't know why, but Denethor is extremely lucid in these moments. He's very clear thinking when he's talking to Faramir, saying the defenses at Osgiliath must be retaken. And I think it's a bit of his pride too. He's not thinking tactically. He's probably thinking like, okay, the people of Gondor are mighty. The people of Gondor are strong. We can do whatever we set our minds to, right? And
yeah,
he's not thinking tactically though. Faramir is telling him, "My lord, the defenses at Osgiliath were overrun. There are thousands and thousands of orcs teeming through every day. We don't have the manpower to take it in a full-on frontal assault."
yeah,
And Denethor is like, "Is there a commander here who still has the will to do his lord's bidding?" And that's when Faramir is like, "Dude, he's sending me to die."
yeah. He's trying to get me fucking killed right now. Like that's his whole goal.
Yeah. So Faramir full on asked the question, "You wish that our places had been exchanged. You wish that I had died and Boromir had lived." And this is fucking savage, dude. Denethor says as he takes a sip from his wine, "Yes, I wish that." Takes a drink, and then Faramir, dude, he is fucking beaten up. Like, all he's ever wanted is his father's love.
Yeah, he has just wanted dad's approval, and Denethor is such a piece of shit as a father. Like he will not let him fucking rest. He will not let him have his time to shine. Like he will just beat him down again and again and again.
And you know what? Faramir is just as capable and just as strong of a warrior as Boromir.
Yeah.
It's not like he's a weak commander. He did his best, but he's fighting overwhelming odds, and Denethor is blaming him once again. But that's the corruption of the ring, the corruption of the Palantir, the corruption of Sauron getting into the minds of men. They're being very prideful, very stubborn, not thinking logically.
Exactly.
But, excuse me, Denethor finally sends him off, and Faramir says, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to send, the survivors, and we're going to retake Osgiliath. And he looks back, he says, if I should return, think better of me, father. And Denethor says, that will depend on the manner of your return. I'm like, God damn!
Dude,
Keep salting that wound, you fuck!
He's such a fucking asshole. I hate Denethor so fucking much. He's such a giant pile of shit.
But that actor did a really good job of fucking
He
making us
did. Like,
dislike
the
him.
actor, the actor made it very believable, like, how Denethor would have acted for all these different parts that we've seen him in.
Mm-hmm. So we go back to Frodo and Sam, and they're both sleeping, resting on a little perch on the stairs. Gollum reaches into the knapsack, grabs what little provisions they have left, the lemless bread, grabs it, throws the rest, and grabs a pinch and sprinkles it on Sam to make Sam look like he's being the fatso eating all the provisions, and wakes him up. Sam wakes up. He's like, what are you doing? Sneak in, I'll fool ya. Who says sneaking? No, I wasn't sneaking. Fat Thomas is always so polite. And then Sam wakes up Frodo, and Sam reaches into his knapsack, like, all right, let's grab a quick bite to eat before we have to head on.
Yeah.
And Sam is like, what the fuck is gone? The elven bread, it's gone. He's like, Frodo's like, what? That's all we had left. And Smeagol's like scratching his head. I don't fucking know.
Dude, I don't know what happened to it, bruh. It was there, now it's gone.
And Sam is like, he took it. He must have. No, Smeagol hates nasty elf bread. But Sam keeps calling him out, you're a lying rat. Frodo says he can't have taken it. He doesn't eat it. But here's another break in logic. Just because he doesn't eat it doesn't mean he couldn't sabotage it and throw it over the fucking edge.
Exactly. He could have very well just said, fuck you, it's gone. Like, I'm gonna fucking, just like you did, I'm gonna fucking yeet this shit off the side of the fucking mountain.
Yeah.
And Frodo pisses me off so fucking much because, like, I understand, like you brought up, he's being manipulated by the ring. He has that corruption in him. But still, like, this is a guy you've known, like, your entire fucking life.
Yeah.
You're gonna trust some fucking scrawny pile of shit that just fucking came in fucking days ago, pretty much? Like, it makes no fucking sense.
Yeah. And you know that Sam has been the one to take the caretaker of the supplies. He's the one that even told you we're running low on supplies. And he's been the one, like, caretaking the supplies. He's been the cook. He's been caring for you. He's done so much for you, and you're going to turn your back on him and have a huge break in logic. I get it. He's under the influence of the ring, but it still pisses me off. Like, these vast breaks in logic, even though you're under the effect of the ring, you should be able to, like, fucking ascertain, hey, fucking Gollum over here is probably sabotaging us, and just do a little bit of critical thinking.
Yeah.
But whatever. So that's always pissed me off about Frodo in these films. Like, I get it. He's under the effect of the ring, but it just still irritates me.
Well, even then, I feel like with him being under the effect of the ring, he should know Gollum used to fucking have the ring. He wants it back because he already has the fucking effect, like, going into his fucking brain. Like, this is mine. It's mine. This is my baby.
And what seals the deal is that they fall down, they start fighting and everything, shouting. Frodo falls down from exhaustion, and Sam is like, here, let me help you. I can carry the ring for you. I know it's such a burden. Let me carry it for a while. Shows a fucking close-up of Sam's mouth. Share the load.
Share the load.
And Frodo's like, get away from me. Sam is like, I don't want to keep it. I just want to help. And Gollum instantly jumps in. It's like, see? He means to take it for himself. And Sam is like, shut up, you. Go away. Get out of here. And Frodo, no, Sam, he's right. go, you don't belong with me anymore. And Sam's like, he's a liar. He's poisoned you against me, which he's fucking right, but he can't see it because he's being so fucking dumb right now.
Yeah.
But Frodo eventually says, go home. And Sam just breaks down in a fucking cry, just falls down into despair and cries in a corner. Which I mean, what else are you going to do, right? If you try to challenge him anymore, Frodo might pull his fucking blade on you.
Yeah.
We've seen it in the last movie when he was struggling to fight off the effects of the ring. He was about to kill Sam.
Yeah.
He pulled his fucking blade when you took him away from the fucking Nazgul, and he was ready to stab you in the throat.
Yep.
So what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, and like he gets so fucking heartbroken because like he's pretty much Sam's best friend. Like he loves Frodo to a very deep extent, and to see him fucking change this much,
Yeah.
It's just fucking heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
And he was never given like a real fair chance. Like I said, like, I mean, Frodo's more focused on just the ring, and really like he's more focused on Gollum.
Yeah.
Because both the ring and Gollum are feeding him just so much fucking deceit and things to manipulate him and control him to get exactly what they both want.
Yes, exactly. So after that scene, Gollum and Frodo keep climbing up the stairs, and Frodo goes, Sam kind of crawls in a corner and cries. We go back to the city of Minas Tirith, and Faramir, having no choice, like, what is he going to do? Disobey the orders of his father, and be executed? And after that conversation they had, Faramir doesn't believe his life is worth anything anyway.
Yeah.
Like, he just wants to make his father proud. And in his eyes, if my death can make my father just a slightly bit happy with me, he's going to do it.
Yeah.
He's willing to kill himself going into a hopeless situation if it makes his father slightly more happier. But Faramir is just completely destroyed as an individual. He's going down Times Square pretty much of Gondor, of Minas Tirith. And all these riders of Gondor, there's like maybe 400, or basically the same number that we started with.
Yeah, like he's taking this essentially the same group to go to their deaths. Like there is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like they're not gonna win. There's too fucking many.
Yeah, it's basically the same amount of soldiers that they retreated from Osgiliath with. There's maybe 300 or 400 at max.
Yeah.
So against, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 fucking, as we see later on in the movie, probably like 50,000 orcs. But in Osgiliath right now, there's probably like, I don't know, 30 or 40,000. But they're in entrenched positions. They're in fucking, firing holes. They're in foxholes. They're in elevated, defensive positions. And you're going to charge them with cavalry. You're outnumbered. You're out fucking positioned. What are you going to do? That's pure tactical suicide. So Faramir has no choice but to charge the city with 300 or 400 cavalry into a heavily fortified position where they have archers on every fucking avenue. So we go back to the throne room with Pippin and Denethor, right?
Yeah.
And Denethor is just munching on food. He's eating ham, he's eating turkey, he's eating a cherry tomato.
Dude, and I fucking hate watching him eat because he's such a fucking slob.
Who bites into a cherry tomato? You swallow it all.
Yeah, you be a good girl. You'll fucking take it all in your mouth. You chew and swallow.
You don't bite a cherry tomato in half.
Yeah, it's not a fucking apple. Like, just fucking throw the bitch in your mouth, bite, and it's done
and
with.
It squirts everywhere. He's being disgusting. He's like, He's being disgusting. And Denethor tells Pippin, hey, sing me a song. And Pippin is like, well, in my country, we don't really have any songs for sad or evil times. And Denethor's like, so you're saying you won't do it? Execute him? No. But he's like, so your songs are not fit for my halls? Gives him a dirty look. Come, sing me a song. And that's when Pippin, the voice actor, or the actor, Billy Boyd, who actually has a decent voice.
Yeah.
And did the end credits song for the Hobbit trilogy, too. But Billy Boyd sings the song, home is behind, the world is ahead. That whole melody.
Yeah.
And It's so ominous, man, because as he's singing, it's showing little slideshows of Faramir as he's attacking Osgiliath. And we don't actually see Faramir and his, small entourage, the battle that ensues, but we see all of the arrows fire. And it's kind of like what you mentioned, like the Battle of 300, our arrows will blot out the sky.
Yeah.
That's a fucking essentially what happens, man. There are so many thousands of orcs entrenched in defensive positions that as they get closer, there's just fucking thousands of arrows getting launched at them.
Yeah, like they really stood no chance because, like you said, they're in these fortified positions, and these guys, they have no cover, so they're just charging this fort, and they knew going into it that they were going to die. Like there was, again, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like,
Oh,
death is
absolutely.
certain.
Absolutely, because when they were leaving Minas Tirith, family members were passing their loved ones flowers and shit, be like, I know you have to do your nightly duty to go on this mission, but even the knights know they're gonna die. And
Yeah,
and the family members know they're gonna die. There's no way they're coming out of this. And
yeah,
that's why when they go down Times Square in Minas Tirith, everybody's sad. It's not a happy moment. Everybody's sad, everybody's crying, it's doom and gloom because they know how hopeless it is. It's a waste of men, it's a waste of resources that King Denethor has ordered.
yeah. Like, he has just straight up ordered these guys essentially to execute themselves by going on this mission.
Yeah. So after when Billy Boyd is singing this song, it shows one quick shot of all the archers at Osgiliath shooting. It's fucking thousands of them, and then it like cuts to black.
Yeah,
They so it's showing that they all died, right? And Billy Boyd finishes his song. He's very sad, and Denethor keeps munching on his meat.
yeah. He keeps fucking just being the fat fuck that he is. Just, no, half a cherry tomato. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, but this is going to
It's
be
the squirting of the tomato is what fucking
it's
bugs me so
disgusting,
bad,
and then he's
dude.
got like a runniness going down his fucking cheek. But anyway, this is going to be a good spot for us to stop because next is going to be like the rallying of the Rohirrim, and it's very much like a next chapter. This is very much like the depressing part of the movie where
Yeah.
all hope is lost and everything, and the next segment is very like hopeful and like rallying of the troops and everything. So I feel like this is a good spot to stop. We're an hour in anyway, so this is the sweet spot.
Yep.
Hunter, before we sign off, is there anything that you would like to say?
I mean, besides the fact that I'm just very happy that we are finally back in business, we were able to record, like, this trilogy is so fucking good, and this final movie in it is just, it's a fucking masterpiece.
I'm hoping that by the time we finish The Return of the King, we will have seen. Well, no, I don't think it'll line up perfectly. I was hoping that we can go into theaters and watch the War of the Rohirrim and cover that. But I got a strong feeling that we're going to finish this movie before we get to that point. We'll probably start the Hobbit series, um, and then we can make a one-off episode covering our initial thoughts because it's not going to be available on DVD for us to cover in
Yeah,
segments and everything.
it's not gonna be available for quite some time. I mean, if it is, fucking tits. Happy to fucking do it like we have been, but like you said, it's more than likely not going to be available for a very long.
So we are absolutely going to cover the War of the Rohirrim. It might just be one episode, obviously, because we can't have it here as B-roll footage and kind of follow play by play.
Yeah.
But we're absolutely going to cover the War of the Rohirrim. Probably like we're gonna watch it either on opening night or very close to, and we'll give you a one-off episode giving our thoughts on the movie, and what we remember from the movie and our favorite parts and what we thought of it. And
Yeah, I mean, maybe later on once it comes out, we can kinda cover it a little bit more in detail, but, that's like, kind of a TBD kinda thing. Like, honestly, once we finish fucking, the Hobbit series, I'm not entirely certain which way we're gonna go. I think we've kinda talked about it.
well, the Hobbit series, all three of those movies are gonna take another fucking like 6 months to get through it.
Yeah, because it's gonna take us, like, probably four episodes, a movie to get through it,
Yeah, so
so,
we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We got
yeah.
time to think about what content comes after the Hobbit series.
Yeah. If
But
you guys have any suggestions, you should email us
at
at
contact
contactvirtualtavern@gmail.com. Make hostile media.
I was going to give you that one.
Thank you.
But I know it's been a while since we've seen you guys. This episode kind of ran on for a little bit with the introductions and everything. We're going to get back into the swing of things here shortly. We're going to figure out a new schedule. We're going to figure out a new normal for us here at Virtual Tavern. There's going to be some growing pains initially. Obviously, we got to figure out the lighting situation in here.
Yeah.
Hunter looks perfect over there. I look like a fucking beaming god. Like the light is just shining off my scalp. So we're going to figure out some things, but it's going to be a formative process. We're going to have fun. The tavern is here. The virtual tavern is finally here.
Dude, the virtual tavern has become physical. It's become a reality.
So we're very happy for the next chapter of this podcast. It's only going to get better from here. Thank you guys for being so patient in our 2-month hiatus. It's well worth it, I promise you. And we're just happy to be back. You know, a million salutations. Thank you for being patient. And I don't really have anything else to say. What about you? About the podcast, about the episode, Lord of the Rings in general?
Honestly, like I just kind of like you were saying, I want to really thank you guys for sticking with us through this hiatus while we were doing all of these different changes and things. You guys have been very supportive. Every time that we've had to make like kind of a major change, you guys have been very patient with us, and I am very, very grateful for that. So now that the studio itself is finally here, the tavern has been built. From this point on, it's just little tweaks here and there to try to figure out exactly what we need to do to make content that's better for you guys, better for you guys to be able to, consume and have a good time doing it.
The podcast is only going to get better, is what we're saying.
Exactly. So, there is no other way but up from here.
So it's going to be a very formative process, as we said, but it's already looking better from here. So, anyways, it has been a long time coming, but my name is Adam Edgar.
I am Hunter Chambliss.
And we will catch you guys on the next Fantasy Friday, where we continue our coverage of The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. Actually, the next Sci-Fi Sunday, where we get back to Cyberpunk 2077, which reminds me...
You need to edit the old footage, fuckface. Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to fucking rat this bitch out. We have had an episode that was recorded in the old room before the studio was built. That piece of shit hasn't edited it. He had all the time in the world. He could have edited it and put it up while we were working on building this. Instead, he waited. So, actually, our next Sci-Fi Sunday episode will not be in the current studio.
It will be
from the past. It will be from the old room.
It'll be a blast from the past.
It will be our final episode from that room, which is also very like kind of sombering, you know, like it's weird to think about.
Yes. So I fucked up, and we had an episode in the backlog that I did not edit and finish until now, which I still haven't even done. But that's on the agenda for tomorrow. So we have one more Sci-Fi Sunday episode in the works that is from the old podcast studio, and we will go from there. So it'll be interesting. Anyway, my name is Adam Edgar.
I am Hunter Chambliss.
And we will catch you guys on the next Sci-Fi Sunday. Ka-chow.
Bye!